Breaking news! Palestine Action have just lost their High Court appeal to try and avoid being banned and put on the list of proscribed groups alongside Hamas, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. They are expected to, I believe, tonight at midnight become a banned group. The scenes outside the Royal Courts of Justice today, where all of the activists have been out there making advantage of the small time they have left to wear their We Are All Palestine Action t-shirts. It has been absolute chaos, ladies and gentlemen. I will show you in just a moment what the judge has said, what is the basis of his ruling. But first, I want to show you a bit of the footage of what has been happening with the crowds outside the courts with the police, because it seemed like the police lost control of a crowd that I would say is quite vicious. Let's take a look. So you can see the police going in here. Quite a lot of coppers. I'm not sure exactly what sparked them to go in here, but you will quickly see that they lose control of the crowd and they get pushed out, shouted at, not treated very nicely. You can hear the shouts and screams of the crowd there. Really going for the police just trying to do their jobs, crowd not having any of it. I do feel for the coppers today, because I'll show you in a moment some more individual clips of them shouting at the coppers, you know, really shooting the messenger, telling them off for doing their jobs. But look at this, that group of police that have just gone in that crowd to try and control it are now being pushed out backwards, and you'd think with that many coppers they would have enough force to control these loony lefties, but oh no, they're being forced at, pointed at, shouted at, screamed at. No control whatsoever. I mean, if anything, tell me what you think in the comments. Get your comments coming in, because we are live, for those of you who are watching this live. I think that this reinforces the reasons why we need to prescribe this group, is that if this is the level of disrespect that they have for the coppers in this country. Look at them. Shame on you, they're shouting at the police. Shame on the police for just doing their job. They have to turn up to protest, even if the group is not prescribed yet. It's normal, any protest, you have coppers, and if the crowd starts getting a little bit too crazy, they will have to, you know, try and control it. I think that's showing the same again, or them going in again. But anyway, so that is what's happening with the coppers. We'll look at a few more bits of footage from the protest outside in a moment, but let's just take a look at what the judge has said about this. So, just for the details here, we have had them go to the High Court, Palestine Action, to try and avoid being banned and put on that prescribed list. And the co-founder, Huda Amori, asked the judge to thwart the Home Office's plan to prescribe the group under the Terrorism Act. The co-founder called the idea authoritarian and said it would leave supporters open to unfair criminal convictions, as well as destroying her own advocacy for the Palestinian cause. And we've just had the ruling delivered. They were asking, so there is going to be another hearing later in the month, another legal challenge that they're going to try and make. What they were trying to do here today, my understanding is they were trying to get a temporary ban, a temporary lifting of the ban, have it delayed until after the next legal challenge. But the judge wasn't having any of it. So the judge said Palestine Action has at least one serious issue that it could argue if it were to, you know, try and appeal this further. A ban would potentially interfere with, you guessed it, their rights under the ECHR, Articles 10 and 11. But overall, he refused their request to delay the ban, because he said that the harm which would ensue is insufficient to outweigh the public interest in maintaining the order in force. So that is what the judge has said. As I said, they will now be I believe, at midnight tonight becoming a prescribed group, but there is, towards the end of the month, another hearing going on where they will try and force another legal challenge, potentially using some of those ECHR rules to try and get the ban lifted. But all those We Are Palestine Action t-shirts you've seen in the footage we've just looked at, they better not be wearing those tomorrow, because they may be arrested. Now let's just take another look at what is going on in these protests outside the court today. So since Glastonbury, a certain chant has become quite popular, hasn't it? And they just couldn't help themselves today.
In Glastonbury, somebody said something like...
They love this chant. Absolutely obsessed with it. They think this is a completely normal thing. Wishing death upon IDF soldiers, they think this is a completely normal thing to do. There they are, wrapped in their little keffiyeh scarves. And, you know, interestingly, I know that the people singing there are quite loud, but I don't hear anybody pushing back saying, whoa, 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 guys, that's too far, that is incitement, that's not what we're here for. We're here to just peacefully protest for Palestine and for our group in the courts today. We don't want to wish death upon, you know, individuals, IDF soldiers. Nope, no pushback whatsoever. Everyone happily singing along. And then we had a lot of people going up to the police who were just doing their jobs, trying to control the crowd, having a go at them. Let's take a look. Hard to hear what she was saying there, but she did say, you lot are a bunch of bullies. And notice the police, they're just standing there. They're not, you know, doing anything too mean, but apparently they're a bunch of bullies in her eyes. Now let's take a look at this crazy lady. This woman is nuts. You're not going to want to miss this. Wait for it. So the police are getting into line there to control the crowd. And then up comes, I think you could say, a Karen. Here she is. She's got all these signs on her. Take a listen to what she has to say if you could hear. So she's shouting, "You are starving babies," over and over again at the police. Why are you telling the police that? Police aren't starving babies. They're just standing there in London. They're not in Gaza. They're just doing their jobs. She is insane. So that is just a little bit of a look at the chaos that is going on. And of course, we've had the news today, well, last night, that Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana are forming a party together. A very weird order of events in that we had this statement put out by Zara Sultana, no news on Jeremy Corbyn's Twitter account last night, where she says, I am co-founding with Jeremy Corbyn a new party, but then we hear Jeremy Corbyn hasn't actually agreed to this, and he's absolutely fuming that she's put out this statement. But then today he has confirmed that he is co-founding a party with her, and the reason why I bring that up is because both of them are people who voted, they were of the 26 MPs who voted against Palestine Action becoming a prescribed group. Let's just remind ourselves, just in case any of you were thinking about voting for whatever they call their new party, let's take a look at what Zara Sultana said on Wednesday in the House of Commons.
I oppose the blood-soaked hands of this government trying to silence us, so I say this loudly and proudly on Wednesday the 2nd of July 2025, we are all Palestine. Order!
No, we're not.
I love whoever the guy was that just goes, no, we're not, at the end. So anyway, that is the latest. Let's take a look at some of your comments. That was the group. I think that's a great photo there of the chaos outside. You can see how crazy it was. And obviously we've seen that video of the police trying to control this crazy crowd outside. We've had them chanting death to the IDF. Chanting shame on you at the police officers and all sorts. So let's take a look at what you guys have had to say. Let's go back to the main screen. So let's see. Timothy says we should even ban the Palestine flag and all face coverings. my view on that, I would say don't ban the Palestine flag. You certainly ban the Hamas flag, Hezbollah flag, etc. prescribed organisations. And if We Are Palestine Action happen to have a flag with their logo on it, we can ban that too. I do agree, we've had a lot of talk of should we ban the burqa after Sarah Pochin's question in Parliament that caused such a stir and led to Zia Yusuf's 48-hour resignation in part. I do think that we should ban all face coverings so that when we have idiots shoplifting and misbehaving at protests that they can be identified. But I don't think we should ban countries' flags. I disagree with that. But I will say, I think it's quite depressing when you see photos of Glastonbury this year compared with photos of Glastonbury like 10 years ago. 10 plus years ago, you see pictures of Glastonbury and everyone's waving British flags. You look at pictures of Glastonbury today, you don't see a single British flag. You just see a load of Palestine flags in the crowd at a music festival here in Great Britain. This person says deport the lot of them. Let's see. They'll have to print new signs and t-shirts now. Yeah, I mean, this is the one thing with prescribing the group. They're all just going to join a group with a new name, right? I mean, Just Stop Oil, they've decided to stop protesting. Not that they were banned, but they decided to stop protesting, and they've all just changed groups. They've all just decided that Palestine is more important than the environment now. These lot, the people who spray painted the RAF planes at Bryce Norton, I'm sure they were ex-Just Stop Oil. Most likely. I don't know for sure, but most likely. Let's see. Is Chloe Tory or reform? Definitely reform. Had enough of the Tories about a year ago. Antifa next. Don't. A lot of people saying, why aren't the riot police there? In the comments. Yeah, interestingly, they just had their normal uniforms on. They weren't in riot police gear. I mean, maybe they weren't expecting, just a little group. It's quite normal if a group is doing something in the court that you have a group, protest and have a few signs outside. But I don't think they were expecting it to be this chaotic. But I think they probably should have done, given this this group's record. I mean, they did, I think last weekend, they did a protest that ended up kicking off and getting pretty crazy. I don't know if there was specifically anything you would clarify as violence, but I think it's fair to say it was a bit out of control. Camel herders. Did you guys hear the story? It was on Plank of the Week. If any of you guys saw it, I spoke about it. Of the Qatari camel herder who came to this country for an operation, and he attempted to rape a woman in the hospital where he was getting that operation. He has now been jailed for 7 years, but he did not plead guilty. He defended himself on the basis that because he is from some niche tribe in Qatar where he would not have had much contact with women other than his mother, that somehow he thinks that makes him not guilty. I guess he thinks, oh, well, haven't had any ladies back home, so I just kind of had a right to do it now that I'm here in the UK just popping in for an operation. Crazy. Karen says they are absolutely ridiculous with their tea towels on their head, like a Monty Python sketch. Isn't it a pity we can't have comedy now? Because this lot are ripe for satirizing. You know what? Tea towels on their head, that's absolutely right. And it is like some sort of comedy sketch what is going on in this country at the moment. Monty Python is fantastic. I'm pretty sure it's still out there on the internet, but my advice would be burn it onto a hard disk because it probably will be banned at some point. I mean, they took down Little Britain and Come Fly With Me, which I think is a great shame. I think they're fantastic shows. I thought Come Fly With Me was just one of the most hilarious shows. Yes, a lot of the jokes were really pushing it, but it's comedy. It's a joke. They don't mean what they say, and people don't seem to get that. But yeah, that's the state of modern Britain, I'm afraid. Comedy is not allowed. If the ECHR was helping British people to claim everything, they would have it scrapped within a week. It does sometimes help British people, and it's typically only the very controversial hearings where ECHR rules are involved that you hear about, which are often involve migration. But I think definitely on the balance of things, the ECHR has helped way too many people to stay in this country because of their human rights, even if they're like a rapist and a murderer. Yeah, far too many people have stayed in this country because of it. What is this supposed to mean? Chloe Dobbs is called a stay. What is it? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. A lot of people laughing about people having their tea towels on their heads in the comments. Those tea towels are actually from Iraq, are they? I don't know. I do actually have. It's in the cupboard somewhere. I have a Kurdish scarf that I got from Syria last year. It looks a lot nicer than these keffiyeh scarves. It's got lots of pretty colours on it. Yeah, I don't have a keffiyeh scarf. I do not know if it is originally from Iraq or Syria. No, Iraq or Palestine. But there we go. Anything else in the comments? Yeah, that's so much contradiction from these people. They say they are terrorists, they being the IDF. They say the IDF are terrorists, that they wish death on certain individuals. Bit of a contradiction, don't you think? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's leave it there for today, folks. That is the latest on the Palestine Action court hearing from midnight tonight. I believe they are going to be a proscribed group. So that means Saturday, tomorrow, which is the typical day that we have all the pro-Palestine protests, you won't be seeing any of this lot, or you'll be seeing them without their We Are All Palestine Action t-shirts on. Let's see if anyone gets arrested tomorrow, because as I said, tomorrow is that day where everyone goes and protests. And I think most definitely there will be people who decide they're going to protest the result today, and they're gonna all put their t-shirts on. Let's see them all get arrested. It's gonna be hilarious. We will of course be here if anything kicks off, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so we can keep you all updated in what is going on in this crazy country. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you very much for watching. See you all next time.